We are trying out this remote thing for the first time. We'll see how it goes. Guys, we got to win. We got to win.
We are 500.
We are 500.
Is that something to celebrate?
I mean,
You
yeah.
know, Jed, before the Northern Illinois game in that preview, you said, "I just want to win. I don't care
know.
what it looks like. I don't care any of this stuff." And I told you I didn't agree with that. I said I didn't agree with that. And you know what? We won 28-14, and this game, I could not have come away feeling more down about this game, I don't think.
At least the first half.
I remember the little bit that I do remember of being down there. I remember before the game we were tailgating, and I was talking to Matt and Gavin and Ryan, and I said, Nebraska is not in the business right now, and we haven't been for quite some time, in the business of needing style points. Like I'm taking the NFL mentality. The NFL mentality is just win and move on. And we're not good enough to need style points right now. So let's just win and move on. And I'm okay with it. Like, yes, are there cracks? Are there lots of issues? Yes. But we won, and I'm good.
I can't say it the same way. I'm so worried about what next week's going to look like, just simply because our offensive line, like we talked about before, it seems like our offensive line is regressing. It seems like they almost I don't know if it's necessarily a talent thing or a fundamentals thing. I think it has way more to do with they seem disinterested. Like there was a lot of apathy going on all over the field in this game, it seemed like.
By no means what I said just a bit ago means that I'm not worried about next week, and I'm not angry about certain things. I was talking to one of my buddies earlier today, and I was like, I'm so confused as to we're not like this rushing juggernaut by any means, but we have a good running game. How are you so good at running the ball, or at least as good as you are at running the ball, being physical and being, dominant at times, running the ball, and equally as horrific in passing the ball? And that's everybody. That's not just the offensive line. That's not just the quarterback. That's not just the receivers getting open or not getting open. It is literally every facet of the passing game of the players that are out there on the field. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how it can be that bad in comparison to how decent we are at running the ball. Before we started recording, I was looking up long plays, like explosive plays for rushing and passing, and our national rank. Running the explosive play for rush is 10 plus yards. We are tied for 7th in the country with 29 running plays of 10 plus yards. Passing plays of 20 plus yards, we are 118th with 7.
Out of 133 or 132?
Yeah, 100 out of 133 teams.
I'm kind of shocked we have 7.
How are you that drastically different?
Yeah, I don't understand how it's happening the way that it's happening. I mean, it's very clear that Henrik Harburg can't throw the ball. That's what's very clear to me. I've listened to a couple other recap shows so far, and major media guys from the area that, they talk about, this is whoever started this game has to start against Michigan. This was proof that Harburg needs to be our guy starting against Michigan. He's got 2 wins in a row. The last, they made mention of the last quarterback to win their first 2 games was Tommy Armstrong 10 years ago in 2013. Like, I don't care about any of those things. Heinrich Harburg didn't look like a quarterback. He looked worse than anything we ever saw when Taysom Hill was trying to start for the fucking Saints. This looks like a bad experiment. This looks like what we saw when Logan Smothers was begged for by the fan base and was given to us. Harburg played great last week. He did
Luke
not
McCaffrey,
play.
not Logan Smothers.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, Luke McCaffrey.
Yep.
I'm not trying to kill Harburg. He did everything he possibly could. But that's the point. He's extremely limited in the pass game. There's a reason that he was third, fourth, fifth on the depth chart prior to this season coming in. I really think we're just that limited in the quarterback room. And there's no there's I texted Matt this during the game. I said, I feel like this, like mid third quarter, early fourth quarter, somewhere around there. I said, I feel like this was Rule giving the fan base what they've been asking for and saying, well, it's going to work out one of two ways. Either I'm going to shut them up and it's going to look awful and I can go back to Sims, or it's going to look great and I look like a genius. And I feel like because we got the win, nobody paid attention to the play on the field.
True. I don't know that it's, necessarily the way that you phrased it as far as almost sounding like Rule is being stubborn and just saying, I'm just going to shove Harburg down your throat and prove you guys that he's not that good. But
no, I'm not saying he's being stubborn. I'm saying he's giving the fan base what they're asking for. The fan base has hated on Jeff Sims since basically first half of the Minnesota game.
I don't see Rule going that quick into just giving the fans what they want. I think he put Harburg.
I don't think he has a choice. Sims is not healthy.
He was the best player we could put on the field at the time.
Yep.
You think it's really a health thing?
Yes. Did you see Sims going on and off the field for that one play? He's not healthy.
I didn't see him go on and off the field. I saw him break 2 tackles during that play, and he looked better than he could have. But he also got extremely the offensive line got blown up on that play. So,
I will say Harburg is still the starter against Michigan, and that's mainly because of health on Sims. If he was not healthy enough to really do that one play or even play much in this game against Louisiana Tech, he's not going to be healthy enough to play against Michigan in another week.
It's not odd to me that he's working out full 100% at practice. You know what I mean? Like, as they said after Wednesday, he was 100% in practice.
Well, he might be full participation, but that doesn't mean he's 100% healthy. Because clearly he wasn't. Otherwise, he would have played.
True.
I mean, I don't see a scenario where he's the starter or even plays significant minutes against Michigan. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just talking right now on a Sunday. I mean, I don't know.
Like we've talked before, I don't think you can take 2 games off and then have your first game back be a starter against the number 2 team in the country. It's not going to go well.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there.
Now, I could see the potential.
It'll be interesting to see what happens this week.
I could see the potential for starting Harburg, and then we have 2 awful drives, and then we bench him and we put Sims back in.
Maybe.
But you need some sort of icebreaker.
I wish that there
was. For him.
I wish there was a little more that we could have shown with Purdy last week to see if he looked healthy and if he could actually throw the ball. Because it was torture watching Harburg throw the ball. I mean, I don't even remember what he finished for, but at one point he was like 4 or 5 for 13, and it was just, he finished 8 for 17 for 107 yards and a touchdown. He threw a couple different balls. The funny thing is I've heard so many people say, well, Harburg's not very good at throwing the ball, but at least he's not throwing picks. Yeah, but that's mostly because he's not even getting close to receivers.
That's so stupid.
Every ball that he threw past 15 yards was sailed so far over the entire field of play that it wasn't even, you weren't catchable by anybody else. I don't understand it. And I feel it felt to me and it looked to me like the receivers know they're not going to get a shot at a ball. Like Fedoni got yelled at on the sideline by Rule after he gave up on a route. And luckily the ball went into no man's land in the middle of a dead zone, but I don't know how you're going to yell at the receivers for giving up on routes that they know that there's no shot they're going to get the ball.
Yeah, everything you said about Harburg is absolutely true. But again, I'm going to go back to, it's not just on the quarterbacks, though. Even if Jeff Sims is playing and he's not playing well, the offensive line, pass blocking,
I'm just talking quarterbacks right now. I'm not even the offensive line yet.
I understand. But again, literally every single person that they put out on the field during pass plays is playing like shit.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have an offensive lineman, and I know that not everybody loves Pro Football Focus's grades, you have an offensive lineman in Turner Corcoran who his pass blocking grade is 0.0 for this game.
Shut the fuck up.
I didn't think
Are
it was
you
an option.
serious?
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my god, I've never even heard of that before.
And the thing is, let's not just trash Corcoran. Ben Scott, the center, his pass blocking grade was 34.9.
Oh, our offensive line was like a fucking hose that you left on overnight and flooded your yard. It was fucking terrible.
It's crazy. Like, every single person that gets out there for a pass play is not doing their job.
And it's Louisiana Tech. We're talking about Louisiana Tech. We're about to go face one of the best defenses in the country next week in Michigan.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry. Is our defense going to be able to play well enough to make this a 17-0 game? Because it doesn't feel like we're going to be able to score.
It depends on which half of a defense we get. Because the defense looked like they were not playing the first half of this last game.
The whole team to me felt like they were looking forward to Michigan and showed up kind of walking through it here for this game.
They looked like they expected
The defense
it to
missed
be,
a shit ton of tackles in the first half.
They looked like they expected it to be as easy as it was against Northern Illinois. It was insane.
Yeah, but they played with severe intensity against Northern Illinois. The defense did, at least.
That's what I mean.
And none of that
thought
was
it was
there
going to
this
be
week.
that
it was
easy.
It was like they had a win hangover, and go celebrate your win. But even Rule said it. We're going to celebrate this for 24 hours, and we're going to move on to the next one. And it did not look like that. Did not look like that, or it looked like they've been working on Michigan film all week and just thought they'd get out there on talent alone and beat these guys up.
After the Colorado game, we talked about the missed tackles and how well we were tackling, and we were surprised to see that Pro Football Focus had us at 14 missed tackles. When I looked at it for this game, I was surprised to only see the number at 9 missed tackles.
What?
Because, yeah.
I remember one play where there was at least 4 missed tackles on the one play.
I don't know. That's what it was.
That's insane to me right now.
I was confused too.
Now I'm questioning Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's wild. Matt, you look like you were about to say something.
Nope. And I'm also way
Are we
behind.
on delay over there?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. There's the delay.
Because it seems like all your answers are like a 5-second delay here.
I'm actually coming from
Maybe
space.
2 seconds, yeah.
No, the offensive line, I feel like we're beating. It's not even a Ben Hart thing this year for me. This has turned into a joke because Ben Hart's one of the better guys that's been out there.
Yeah.
He's still frustrating me with some of his lack of effort plays, but when he's putting in the effort, he's actually been one of our better offensive linemen this year.
Did you hear the sideline reporter after that 72-yard touchdown run by Harburg? They went down to her, and she was talking about how much the team loves Harburg, the coaches love Harburg, blah, 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 blah. And then she said after that touchdown, Harburg ran to the sidelines, found Ben Hart, and slapped him on the back and said, "That play was all you." And I kind of giggled. It's like, granted, did he have a good block at the edge? Yes, he did. One play, cool. But I kind of giggled a little bit when she said that on the replay.
It's team mentality. He's trying to be a leader. I get all that stuff. That's cool.
I know.
You give him credit where credit's due, but at the same time, he should be getting up every single time that he's getting completely mauled on a pass play and basically yelling at his left side of his offensive line.
The thing is, it's a lot like the quarterback situation that we have right now. Do we have any other option?
I don't know, man. It doesn't, where's Teddy Prohaska? I don't know how many snaps he actually got in on this game.
He had like 13.
And that's solid. Maybe that'll get him to the point that he can actually start looking at some starting stuff here. I don't know, but for me it seems to be that there's no depth behind these guys because if there was, you'd be trying something else.
Yeah, Prohaska got in 13 snaps. 12 of them were running plays. 1 of them was a pass play.
Fair enough.
So, whatever that means is whatever that means. I don't know.
Well, it means that we can't really blame him for the leaky faucet on the pass plays, I guess.
Yeah.
It was frustrating, which is it's hard to feel this frustrated after a 28-14 win.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not happy about the way the game went down. But again, we're not in the business of style points right now. So we won. Okay, cool. Next.
Yeah.
Next is fuck Michigan.
Next is fuck Michigan. I'm with you on that. How did we do on our questions?
Not great. Not like last week.
Matt didn't kill every single one of them?
No, he did not. Yeah, nobody went above 500 in their picks. The best record was 4-5. That was me, the fans, and Tyler. Everybody, you two were both below that. The very first question was Louisiana Tech rushing yards per attempt at 2.0. They had 2.2, so they hit the over on that one. Me and the fans had the over. You know, one of the things as I was watching the game for the first time this morning.
Now, no. Let's back up here because you were in the fucking stands.
Well,
I was in the
first half, he
stadium.
was in the stands.
I was in the stadium.
Do you want to tell the story or do you need Matt to tell the story?
Well, I
'Cause he
don't know
knows
the story, so I just
Dude, we hit it pretty hard, pretty early. Okay, we were in Lincoln by, what was it, 10 drinking?
something like that.
Yeah.
10 for a 2:30 game. That's some solid drinking right there.
There's a lot of drinking going on. We made it to the stadium. We got some drinks, got some food, got to our seats right as the game was getting ready to kick off. It was right before the tunnel walk. And Jed was asleep before the tunnel walk. We sat down. He's looking good. He's a little glassed over, but we sat down, and his nice new Mountain Dew was on the ground before we got any players on the field. And then it was a lot of bobbing and weaving for that first half. And then at halftime, I lost him. He went inside for something, and
Pulled in Illinois?
we had to go find him at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was
Yep. I pulled into Illinois.
So,
I might have been on the same exact toilet too.
Oh, my
Was-
God. Well, at
was-
least you knew it was comfy.
Yeah.
It was a good thing
Jesus.
that we had a weather delay because he did get to catch the last 8 minutes of the game.
I did.
Had enough time to sober up with that extra half-hour delay in there.
I was
Just
conscious
stood him
for
out in
that.
the rain for a little while. But it was a good time.
Let it wash you away. Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, that happened.
So anyway, on to the questions.
So the rushing yards per attempt 2.0. They had 2.2. You know, one of the things when I was watching the game, I was impressed with having a 2.2 per attempt number when you only have 4 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was, I mean, if we want to say something positive about this game, the defense was a little leakier than what we've come to expect so far this season. But, I mean, they were at least tackling at the point of attack on a consistent basis. So that was pretty good.
Everything we talked about, everything that we took, and I'll be completely dead honest with my assessment of who I thought they were going to be, all came from what you and what you and your brother said. And so I didn't do any of my own research on them, and based on thinking Mike Leach, air raid offense, taking time in the pocket, all those things, that's not what we saw. They had a game plan specific for our pass rush.
The thing is, Mike Leach air raid offenses, they get the ball out of they use the passing game as their running game. So they are
fair.
They are a quick, pass screen, type of an offense. They're not just
That's all we saw.
Yeah.
We didn't see any, I don't remember more than 1 or 2 long attempts from them. And other than that, it was get the ball out as fast as possible, which is a lot of what we saw from Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
A ton of screens. I don't know that they really had any explosive plays from a standpoint of just simply the fact that they didn't shoot for them. I mean, their longest play from scrimmage was 14 yards.
Yeah.
They just didn't. He threw the ball 27 times for an average of 7 yards a throw.
Well, their longest play rushing was 14 yards. They had some passes that were longer than that.
Oh, excuse me. I was looking at the wrong level here.
Yeah.
I thought it was on the passing stuff. Yeah, so there was a 35 that Smoke Harris had.
Yeah.
They did a nice job containing him, though. I mean, he caught 10 balls and only got 73 yards.
Yeah.
And he was the one guy that we named as being a problem. So I really didn't think the defense played poorly. I just felt like they played like they weren't trying that hard today.
Well,
Guys, this is kind of a week off for us.
like I said, I mean, they played well. I think I used a correct word when I said they were a little leakier than we have seen this year. I mean, they weren't
That's a good way to
terrible.
put it.
They just, you know. Question number 2, total punt return yards by Billy Kemp, 14.5. Obviously under, because that's what this number does. He only had 8 yards. He only returned 1 of the punts.
He fair caught a couple that I was like, man, you had time. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I know. Matt, Tyler, and myself took the under. We changed the third question because it was who was going to have more carries, Gabe Irvin or Anthony Grant. Obviously, we did that question before.
That's what we get for recording the preview on Sunday.
Yes. So we changed the question to Anthony Grant rushing yards, 79.5. Everybody took the over, and that was way over. Hell, even the option that I brought to you guys as far as the possible other question was who was going to have more carries, the starting quarterback or Anthony Grant. And it actually ended up being Anthony Grant.
Yeah, by 1.
No, by like 3.
Oh, I thought it was 20
Grant-
to 19.
Well, Grant had 22, so.
My bad.
Nebraska tackles for loss. I had it at 7.5. They only had 4. Kind of sucks, kind of going back to our offensive line issues. Louisiana Tech had 9 against us. Like, what are you doing?
Well, we like we said though, the offensive line wouldn't allow for any time.
No.
And I will say this, I will give Harburg this. He held onto the ball. He did a nice job holding onto the ball. It just the offensive line, if they can't get this figured out, Michigan's going to have 15 sacks on us.
Yeah,
They're going to destroy us.
it's going to get ugly.
15 seems
I was
low.
the only one to take the under. What was that, Matt?
15 seems a little low, honestly. Louisiana Tech
he's
got
not
9.
wrong though.
Yeah.
I would expect Michigan to be able to get at least double that.
With the way we're playing, yeah. I was the only one who took the under on the tackles for loss. Louisiana Tech total offensive yards 249.5. They ended up with 338. Before the rain delay, they had 245, so they got a lot of yards after that rain delay.
Yeah. Well, they marched right down and had a nice drive on us, and you could see Rule was not happy about that.
No. Everybody took the under on that one, so everybody got that one wrong. Turnover margin was looking really good for the push for me until the very end of the game, which I'll take.
Thank you, Isaac Gifford.
I'll take it.
That was a nice pick too.
Yeah. BJ, Tyler, and the fans took the over. Defensive interceptions, obviously it was just 1. We had the number at 1.5. Everybody took the over except for the fans, so they got that one right by themselves. Nebraska.
Fans.
Yep.
It was almost 2.
Yeah.
We dropped 1.
Nebraska third down conversions for the offense. I had the number at 45%. We were not very good on third down. We were 27.2%. We only converted 3 of 11. Tyler was the only one to take the under on that one. And last question was how many quarterbacks will play for Nebraska? Had the number at 2.5.
We got 3.
Outside of the one play, 3. And Matt was the only one who took the over on that one.
Yeah.
Good call, Matt.
BJ, you only got 2 questions right. And Matt got 3. Me, Tyler, and the fans got 4.
It was not a
You know,
great
the
week
one
for
the one
questions.
positive, the one big bright spot I think we can take away from this week is, and I'm going to say I was wrong about this because I was one of the guys that was, if Anthony Grant can't hold on to the ball, he can't be on the field, that sort of a thing. Anthony Grant 100% looked like the bell cow, good level 1 running back that you can have in a Big Ten offense this week. He looked stout. He looked quick. He hit. He was explosive. And he held onto the ball, and he did everything he was supposed to do. And given that larger chunk of opportunity, he ran with it, literally.
Well, and I don't want to say that you don't want to have a good running back room or a good any position room, but it also kind of shows that what running backs can do when they get like a ton
Get
of
more
carries.
opportunity.
Yes.
Yes.
Going
They're,
in and out sometimes doesn't help running backs. I understand wanting to stay fresh, but at the same time, you also want to get warmed up. So,
another guy, a guy that it reminded me of was Divine Azigbo.
hmm
Azigbo had to share a lot of carries with. I mean, he was in there. Wasn't he still around on the back end of Abdullah being here? And then he had to share carries with a bunch of different guys. But when he had his opportunities, when he got his shots to get to that 20 plus carries mark, and he really got to start cooking, it's almost more of a let me get in my element, let me hit a couple shots first, and then I'll start going. And that's what that game reminded me of was we actually gave him the opportunities, we kept him in there, kept churning, and finally he broke a couple loose. And with our offensive line playing as poorly as they are, his lateral movement is needed.
Yep.
I think that's where he stood out. I know the Gabe Irvin comment is or conversation is mute now, but that's where I think he stood out to me 2 weeks ago over Gabe Irvin. Was Gabe Irvin is a great downhill runner. He doesn't have a lot of jump cut lateral side to side movement, and you need that with this offensive line because at any moment they're going to let go.
well, and I mean, I'm not going to put it all on the running backs again. I'll give at least the offensive line credit because they are good at run blocking, at least serviceable at run blocking for the most part. Because otherwise, they wouldn't be averaging like 6 or 7 yards a carry. They might be averaging 3 yards a carry.
But I think a lot of that has more to do with conditioning than talent, or at least what they're doing, because a lot of what they're getting, a lot of that stuff that's breaking loose is coming in the second half when just their sheer size and their excellent elite conditioning is taking over the game. Because they looked, even the run game looked bad in the first half.
I agree, but they've been a good running team all year, and
Yeah.
I'll at least they're at least being consistent with it. So yes, of course it is, some wearing down towards the end of some of these games, but at the same time they're doing it. So
You're right.
in a show where we are not giving a whole lot of credit to a whole lot
There's
of
not a
people,
lot of praise and positivity coming out of a show after a win.
I'll give them that credit that they are continuing. Maybe not with this game specifically, but so far on the season, they've been a good running team. And just like I'm blaming everybody on all passing plays, I will at least give credit to everybody on running plays because even the wide receivers and the tight ends are blocking really well on running plays. Granted, I guess there was 2 of them where they were holding on one of those running plays that got called back.
One of those was ticky-tack as fuck.
I agree. But the running game is working. The passing game is not.
Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
Like I said, it felt like a sloppy game, at least in the first half. Not going to be upset about the win, but I hope that we were just looking forward to Michigan, and also fuck Michigan.
Yeah.
Who would you guys give our MVP on both sides of the ball to?
Defensively, Omar Brown. He was everywhere.
He was.
Offensively, I mean, kind of a cop-out, just say Harburg. I mean, I know he was bad at half of what he's supposed to do, but he ran the ball so well. I mean,
he had 2 long touchdowns. One of them just got called back.
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, I'd say Omar Brown on the defense as well, but I gotta go with our running game on this one specifically for the running backs. So I will give it to Anthony Grant here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm going to go with Anthony Grant just simply because he actually showed out. He showed what we should be getting from a bell cow back for the first time of any of our backs all year long. It was nice to see that, and I also think his ability to break that running game open a little bit is part of what led to Harburg's success.
Absolutely.
The threat of him and some of what they did. Also, I gotta say, some of the pass plays that he was in on, some of those passes don't actually get out of Harburg's hand if he's not sitting back there pass blocking. So he's That was something he was not very good with last year, that he actually looked pretty decent on a couple different plays in this game.
Yeah, there was a couple of plays where he wasn't in there, and it was Emmett Johnson and stuff, and they missed blocks completely. So, yeah, Anthony Grant has done a lot better at pass blocking.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.